A story of growth. Emma had always dreamed of speaking fluent English. Growing up in a small town where most people spoke only their native language, she felt intimidated whenever she heard English being spoken on TV or in movies. She understood the importance of learning the language but felt that fluency was something beyond her reach. One day, Emma decided it was time to change that. She wanted to travel, meet new people, and explore opportunities that required speaking English. So, she set a goal to become fluent in English within 2 years. The journey, she knew, wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to stay committed. 1. Building vocabulary daily. Emma's first step was to build her vocabulary. Every day, she wrote down 10 new words and their meanings in a small notebook. She focused not just on memorizing the words but on using them in sentences. After a few weeks, she realized that she was starting to recognize more words in conversations and when reading articles online. She didn't stop there. Emma learned that context was key. She didn't just want to know isolated words. She wanted to understand how they fit together in real communication. So, she started reading English books, first children's books, then short stories, and eventually novels. This helped her see the vocabulary in action and learn how native speakers used it naturally. Speaking without fear. Although Emma was improving her reading and vocabulary, she knew that fluency required more than that. The hardest part for her was speaking. She had always been shy, especially when it came to making mistakes in front of others. But she decided to change her mindset. Emma learned that making mistakes was part of the learning process. She found a language exchange partner online, a native English speaker who was learning her native language. They agreed to meet twice a week over video calls. At first, it was nerve-wracking. Emma stumbled over her words, but her partner was kind and patient. Slowly, she began to feel more comfortable expressing her thoughts in English. One of the turning points in Emma's journey came when she started talking to herself in English. Every morning, she would look in the mirror and describe her plans for the day, all in English. This simple habit helped her think in English instead of translating everything from her native language. Over time, her confidence grew. Immersing in the language. Next, Emma knew that immersion was key. But how could she immerse herself in English while living in a non-English speaking country? She found creative solutions. Emma changed the language on her phone and computer to English. She watched her favorite TV shows and movies with English subtitles and listened to English podcasts during her commute. One day, she discovered a podcast called All Ears English, which was designed specifically for learners. The hosts spoke clearly and explained expressions, idioms, and cultural references. It became part of her daily routine, and soon she was listening to conversations in English for hours without getting overwhelmed. Emma also set aside time to listen to the news in English. It wasn't easy at first, as the speakers spoke quickly, but after a few months, she noticed a big improvement in her listening skills. She could follow along with current events and even started having small debates with her language partner about the topics she heard. Practicing pronunciation. Emma understood that fluency also meant speaking clearly and being understood by others. She wanted to work on her pronunciation. So, she found videos and apps focused on pronunciation practice. She spent 10 minutes every day mimicking native speakers, repeating phrases, and focusing on the rhythm of the language. To make it more fun, she recorded herself speaking English and compared it to native speakers. Although it felt awkward at first, Emma noticed her pronunciation was improving with each recording. Eventually, she sounded more natural, and her confidence soared when she started getting compliments from her language exchange partner on how much clearer her speech had become. Consistency and patience. There were days when Emma felt frustrated. Sometimes she couldn't find the right words during a conversation, or she didn't understand a fast-talking native speaker. But instead of feeling defeated, she reminded herself that fluency is a journey, not a race. Emma set small goals for each month. One month, she focused on mastering phrasal verbs. Another month, she focused on writing more in English, keeping a journal where she reflected on her day. These small, consistent efforts helped her stay on track. After a year, Emma's English had improved dramatically. She could hold conversations with ease, read novels without constantly looking up words, and understand the gist of podcasts and news broadcasts. Most importantly, she felt confident using English in real-life situations. Testing her skills in real life. Finally, Emma wanted to test her fluency in an English-speaking environment. She saved up money and took a short trip to London, where she put everything she had learned into practice. She visited museums, ordered food in restaurants, and asked for directions, all in English. The experience was life-changing. She realized that, while there were still some challenges, she could communicate with native speakers without feeling anxious or self-conscious. During her trip, Emma met new people from different countries who spoke English as a second language, and she realized that everyone had their own unique journey toward fluency. This sense of global community inspired her to continue learning and improving. Conclusion: fluency as a lifelong journey. Emma's story shows that developing English fluency is not about perfection, it's about progress and persistence. Through daily vocabulary building, consistent speaking practice, immersion, and patience, Emma transformed her English skills over time. She learned that fluency comes from a combination of discipline, motivation, and a willingness to embrace mistakes as part of the process. 2 years after she set her goal, Emma had achieved a level of fluency she once thought was impossible. But more importantly, She had developed a love for learning languages, a skill she knew she would continue to build for the rest of her life.